Good morning, everyone. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and we're here at beautiful DeLuca Park in Elmsford to announce the first grants from the federal government, United States federal government, under the Community Development Block Grant Program, the first that have come to any Westchester community since 2010. And for this, we're extremely appreciative of having our Congresswoman, Nita Lowey, who's chair of the House Appropriations Committee, to be with us to make this important announcement. This would not have happened without the leadership of Congresswoman Lowey, who's represented us for a long time and been an outstanding advocate, not just for the county, but for all of the communities in Westchester County. So this wouldn't happen today without her responsibility. She'll be speaking in a moment, but Congresswoman, thank you. I also want to thank my many other colleagues in county government who've joined us here today. We're here being hosted by Elmsford Mayor Robert Williams and Bobby as head of this village. We have the town administrator from the town of Mamaroneck, who also serves as the Urban City Council Chair, Steve Altieri. Portchester Mayor Fritz Falanka is with us. Fritz. And we have Mount Kisco Mayor Gina Picanich. I never pronounce it right. You have to get me straight. Ossining Town Supervisor Dana Levenberg is with us here today. And Ossining Village Mayor Victoria Garrity is with us. And there's a number of important people in the Elmsford world that will be introduced by Mayor Williams when he gets up. The town administrator for Mount Kisco is with us, Ed Brancotti. And a few key people from our county team. Our Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins, is with us. The Commissioner of the Department of Planning, who supervises the Community Development Block Program, Norma Drummond. Our Deputy Director of Operations, Emily Saltzman. Our Director of Communications, Catherine Chaffee. Nobody is running the county government right now. We're all here at DeLuca Park in Elmsford for this announcement. But also Blanca Lopez is with us. She has housing as part of her portfolio. Susan Spear is with us. And I'll take the privilege of introducing from Congresswoman Lowey's staff, her longtime right arm, Pat Keegan. Pat, thank you. Did I miss anybody? I don't think so. But again, Bobby will introduce some of the people who are here from Elmsford. This is a reestablishment of the Westchester County Urban County Consortium, and it's the first CDBG award grants in 9 years. These come from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, and as you may recall, the county and the federal government had a bit of a controversy that extended almost a full decade. During that period of time, HUD stopped the program for CDBG, which hurt not the county, the government of Westchester County, but the villages and the towns that came to the county to consolidate the effort necessary to bid for these federal grants. And even with the support of Nita Lowey and her colleagues in Congress that represent Westchester County, the divisiveness in argument between the county government and the federal government hurt the village of Elmsford, hurt the village of Portchester, hurt the villages that are represented here in the towns. So this is an example of us trying to reestablish a different relationship over the 18 months of our tenure. A relationship built on friendship and partnership. This is not about partisanship. Republicans, Democrats, we're trying our very best to work together to do what's in the best interest. And when we can help the process of allocating money to help reinvent DeLuca Park and all of the different projects around Westchester County, then we're doing our job as a county government in harness with the local government with the great resources from the federal government. That's what people expect out of us. They expect government to work together cooperatively. They're tired of us arguing with each other, picking at each other, finding partisan arguments when they're not necessary. They want to see us work together, and if we work together to improve things. So when they come to a park, they see something better today than it was before, and that's what they expect out of government. That's what we're trying very hard to deliver. CDBG program municipalities have applied for funding for local infrastructure projects. A park is only one of them. Water and sewer treatment, sidewalk repair, construction of a senior center or a daycare center, and of course the improvement of a playground or park. Now there are 4 cities in Westchester County that applied directly to HUD for these funds. White Plains, Yonkers, Mount Vernon, and New Rochelle. So they're not part of the Urban County Consortium. But when you're the size of a village like Elmsford, or even a village like Portchester, which is our largest village, it's hard for a community government of that size to compete in the granting world. So forming a consortium of all those communities together allows the county to do some of the grantsmanship that's necessary, provide the statistical data with the community, and then they get up to bat and have a chance at some of these grants. We're proud to say that this reestablished consortium is now made up of 25 of our towns and villages. There's 45 municipal governments altogether. 25 of them are involved in our consortium, and we believe we're going to receive $3.5 million in CDBG funds for the 2019 fiscal year. That's $3.5 million that is not coming from the pockets of Westchester taxpayers, but coming from the national resources to benefit Westchester communities. And again, I have to turn again to Nita Lowey to thank her for that. That doesn't happen without her stellar leadership. The county is also going to receive $880 million in HOME funds. HOME is an acronym, capital HOME. It involves housing programs. We'll talk about that at another time when we have some information on that. This event is being held here at DeLuca Park in Elmsford because this is a well-used community park. The swing and the jungle gym that we see behind us are worn, and there's wood that needs to be replaced. There's flooring that's becoming undone. The basketball court is showing its age. All of those things are going to be improved by this, and we'll have the mayor talk a little bit about those changes in a second. This is just one example of all of the things we're talking about. But it's not about talk. It's about getting funding to make a concrete improvement, and we think if those things happen, that we'll see a very positive result. So we have a couple of folks who are going to speak, and the next one, of course, is our illustrious Congresswoman Nita Lowey. Nita?
Oh boy, George, it is so good to be here, to be home in Westchester County. It's been quite a week. For those of you who follow what's going on in Washington, the Senate still, I don't even know what they're doing over there, but we're about to finish all of our 12 appropriation bills. So Thursday night, we finished about 2 in the morning. It's been that kind of time, and this week we expect to finish. Now, as you probably know, in order for these bills to become law, the Senate has to do something. So I assume they're going to do something, but we're getting our work done before the hot days of July. So for me, it's a real honor, privilege to be here with all my good friends. Now, George introduced everybody, so I'm not sure that I need to introduce everybody because most people here don't need an introduction, but I am very pleased. Oh boy. But I'm very pleased because for me to be with the mayor, where's Bob Williams? Right in back of me, is always a pleasure. We've been buddies for a long time, and I'm delighted to be in your town. And Village Administrator Michael Mills, all the good people, Elfrida Williams, all the good people who are joining us today. And I must say that under the outstanding leadership, oh, I thought George Latimer was going to hold up the flag. You know, George Latimer and I started in politics together, and we knocked on more doors, and George knew the name, phone number, all the kids, everything about everyone. And as county executive, he still looks at every detail, so I'm always thrilled to be here with him and everyone who has joined him today. And I'm very pleased. We had to figure a backdoor way to do this, George, but now we can receive CDBG funds directly, so I'm very proud of that. For too long, Westchester communities and nonprofits were ineligible to receive federal affordable housing and community development funding. That's why prior to the consortium's reestablishment, we really did fight hard to get those CDBG funds through, it was kind of a creative solution that I worked out with Governor Cuomo, but I don't have to give you all the details now since we can get it directly. In 2015, 10 communities in Westchester received $4.3 million in CDBG funding. These critical dollars went to improvements to senior center facilities, transportation, Tarrytown, Sleepy Hollow, Elmsford, Mount Kisco, as well as handicapped accessibility upgrades at Crawford Park in the town of Rye and pump stations in the city of Peekskill. So I'm proud of that work. I think it was good. We all did it together. But today I'm really thrilled that the Westchester Consortium is back in existence. And the consortium will bring essential funding to our local governments, nonprofit organizations in Westchester that provide everything from affordable housing to public work improvements, sidewalks, better playgrounds. It's really exciting to see where this money can go. CDBG dollars make vital investments in housing rehabilitation, development of public facilities and infrastructure, and expand overall economic opportunities. So here at DeLuca Park, doesn't surprise me with the leadership of my friend, Mr. Williams. It is so beautiful, but the federal dollars can help revitalize the playground, making it even safer and fun space for all. So I'm really aware of all the difference this funding can make. And that's why, as you know, I was elected chair of the House Appropriations Committee, which is pretty nice. Rather than be chair, then have to follow other leaders. So we're really working hard. I'm so proud of all my colleagues, my team, to increase these investments. And the House version of the bill, as I said, the Senate will wake up at some point and start their appropriations work, but the House version of the bill funds HUD and CDBG for fiscal year 2020 at $3.6 billion, which, not all for here, I don't want you to raise expectations. We have to share it, but totally it's $3.6 billion, and it's a $300 million increase from current levels, so you can do a lot. So I wanted to come today to applaud the Westchester Consortium's reestablishment, and we're going to continue fighting for these critical federal investments that support our homeowners, small businesses, such as across the street. We have to thank Diana Gu for this beautiful flower. You know, at weddings, someone takes them home. but I think, Mr. Mayor, you can keep it to beautify your office. It's too heavy for me to bring home anyway. So we're all here with all of our great public officials who are already introduced. I won't introduce you again, but I do want to say thank you because we are a team. We work together. We know why we're in public service. We're here to serve the people of our community, and I know working together, for me, it's a real joy and a real pleasure. So, George, I'm not sure who's going next. I think you're going to introduce the next speaker, too. So thank you so much for inviting me here today, and I'll just go back and keep fighting for more money for our community.
Now, I know Nita's got a tight schedule, and I gather she has to be over the bridge very shortly. So whenever you have to leave, Nita, feel free. And if any members of the press want her to be interviewed one-on-one, perhaps Pat will take you back there to have that done. But when you have to go, just feel free to go. We understand. Good. Thank you. She's going to speak in a few seconds, but I do want to introduce the Vice Chair of the Board of Legislators. She's represented Elmsford and related communities for a long period of time. And on the Board of Legislators, she has been a strong supporter of the reestablishment of the CDBG program. We owe a great debt of gratitude today to Alfreda Williams. Alfreda, good to see you.
Good morning. I am delighted to be here to see this reinstatement of the community block grant monies. It's so important for our communities to be able to use these monies constructively for playgrounds and parkland, as well as for roads and all the other things that so necessary to a village and a town. So I can't say much more than George Latimer has said, and our Congresswoman Lowey. I think they both deserve a round of applause for the work and the effort that they put in over these years. So. I know that the Village of Elmsford is going to make very good use of the $67,000 that is coming out of this fund for DeLuca Park, and I'm sure that it will provide pleasure and opportunities for the young people that live in this community. So thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Steve Altieri, who is the chair of the consortium from the local government level, and he's been town administrator of Mamaroneck Town for a long period of time, establishing a very solid record in that town. When I was a pup in my 30s and I first represented Mamaroneck Town in the county legislature, Steve was there, and he gave the first tutorial about some of these issues to me all those years ago. So it's been 30 years since we started. But Steve is still there doing a great job, not just for his town, but on behalf of all the communities of the consortium. Steve?
Good morning. It's an exciting day because I was involved with the Urban County Consortium before the program went into the cellar, so to speak. So to bring it back at this time is so very exciting for all of the communities. For those of you that don't know, the Urban County Consortium is made up of all of the communities that have agreed to join the consortium and partake of those grant funds that are available. And you're sure we have to share the $3.6 billion, or we're sharing? All right, we try it anyway. Just very quickly, I think what's so important to this program is the fact that all of the officials here from local government know what it is to prepare a municipal budget today. We are under the pressure of not only what our taxpayers are expecting, but we are under the pressure of the state tax cap, which has become a threshold by which we are often rated, and it's not always an easy thing to do. So when we have funding available for infrastructure, projects like this to restore parks and other recreation programs and facilities, it is such a great advantage to all of us here in Westchester County, and all of those municipal officials that have agreed to join deserve our thanks, because it is their joining the program that helps us earn more money through the program. I also want to thank Norma and Anthony and the rest of the planning staff. My job is very, very easy because they really do all of the work in making sure that the applications are done correctly. So this is a congratulations to all of us this morning. It's a very exciting day in Westchester County. Thank you.
Our last speaker is our host, Mayor of Village of Elmsford, Bobby Williams. And Nita alluded to the fact back in the day when she was first running for Congress, I was a councilman in my home community, Rye City, and that was even before I met Steve Altieri. So I was in my early 30s. I'm in my mid to late 60s now. And what I learned as a local official is what people expect out of your local government. They look for police, fire, sanitation, snow removal, recreation. They want to see a certain amount of activity in the community, and all of those burdens are put at the village doorstep of Gina, of Fritz, the town doorstep of Dana. It's put at Victoria's doorstep, and the expectation level is that with limited resources, you're going to be able to hire, as we do, a professional staff of people in DPW, a professional police staff, to have a fire service, however it's structured, from volunteer to full-paid professional, that can do the job that it's necessary to do. And just as Steve said, in a time when most of the higher levels of government aren't doing much to help you out, and you can feel like you're on your own island, and Elmsford, the size and scope, the need that it has in this community, it takes a lot of hard work to be mayor of a village like this, arguably harder than it is to be in a bigger government where you have more staff and more situations. But Bobby and this community is an example of what is a bedrock of Westchester County. And it's local officials, don't make a lot of money, aren't in it because your name is going to be bandied about on television. People aren't going to remember you 40 years from now. They probably remember Bobby, but most of the rest of us won't be remembered 40 years from now. But you do it because you think it's the right thing. That's why Gina got involved. That's why Fritz got involved. That's why Dana and Victoria and the rest of our crew got involved. And that is what we're supporting today through this Urban County Consortium. The county professionals, the federal support, we're here to help the Elmsfords of the world have a fair shot at running the kind of communities that they want to run. So Mayor Williams, come on up here. Congratulations and thank you for hosting us.
Good morning. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, our administrator and I, we welcome you to the Village of Elmsford and DeLuca Park. Thanks for coming. Great day. I'd like to thank County Executive and Congresswoman for your kind words. Thank you very much. Very nice. A special welcome to Congresswoman Nita Lowey, County Executive George Latimer, all my colleagues in local government, Commissioner of the County Planning Department, Norma Drummond, and all of your staff and all our guests. With me today, we have our Deputy Mayor, Ed Rush, our Village Administrator, Mike Mills, our Second Assistant Fire Chief, Syed Al-Rai, Highway Department Foreman, Brian Bellantoni, our Water Foreman, Joe Diaz, Norman, no stranger, our Engineer, Tony Capicato, and our Police Chief, Steve Foster, in the back there. I'd also like to welcome our, where are they, he's hiding over there now, he was sitting next to me, Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins. Thank you, Ken, always good to see you. A person we work very closely with is a good friend also is our County Legislator, Alfredo Williams. Thank you. Thanks for always being here. I'm going to ad-lib for a second. I was telling somebody before, I'm a speech guy. I don't like to read off the talk off the cuff, but I'm going to for a second. Somebody said it a minute ago about teamwork, and it is really all about teamwork. We don't do politics. We all work together. We're all serving the same people, and it's really nice we can all come together, on, especially on a project like this, to get this done. Thank you. I know I can speak on behalf of all the other 25 mayors and supervisors that are eligible to receive the Community Development Block Grants again. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for reestablishing the consortium so that we'll be able to receive the grant money. We wouldn't be able to do the projects in our communities if it wasn't for these grants and your support of them. In Elmsford, we have applied for the grant to improve a 20-year-old playground that is not handicap accessible and falling apart right behind me. The playground company that we use every year to inspect it cannot find the parts for it anymore. We will also improve the swings and the rubber safety surface, both the playground and the swings, to make it nice and safe for everyone. The new playground will be handicap accessible so more children can enjoy it, and with the new rubber matting under it, it'll be really nice for the kids. The almost $70,000 we are set to receive would have been real hard, if not impossible, to fund in our budget due to the improvements, meaning the repairs to the park would have been put off again. Congressman Lowey and County Executive Latimer, we thank you again. Thank you.
So just before we open it up to questions from the press, which can be directed to any of us who are here, we've had in our administration, oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I did not introduce Anthony Zano, who's with us. Anthony? He is a critical player in helping us design and carry out many of our projects around the county. It's his professional expertise that we rely on in order to deliver end product. Anthony, thank you for being with us today. We haven't been in office just shy of 18 months, and over the course of the next few weeks, hopefully, we're going to see examples of things like this that represent the fruition of things we've been working on. And we're doing this without any particular fanfare, but the reestablishment of the CDBG program we know is the right thing to do. Over the course of the next few days, hopefully members of the press will be with us down at Playland. We'll be launching our first new ride in 11 years. It's kind of a long period of time to have waited for a new ride, but we have that coming in. We hope to bring you down to the Sprain Ridge pools, where we'll show you the opening of the new revitalized kiddie pool, and what we hope shortly thereafter will be the competition pool. 10 years closed over that period of time. The renovation of the Miller House in North Castle, the historic George Washington headquarters that was deteriorating and unusable, that before the end of the year will be used as a as an area for education for young kids. And very soon an affordable housing study that lays out the direction that we have to go to help affordable housing advance in this county. And on issue after issue after issue, working with the Board of Legislators to try to deal with the list of things, of projects that are undone. Without fanfare, it's not about ego. If you notice, first thing I did is I took my name off all the signs when I became county executive, because it's not about your name on your sign. It's about, can you do positive things? And when we come past this park in whatever period of time it takes for the money to come and the new equipment to come in, and you look at this and you see kids playing, that's the satisfaction of it. It's to know that you had an opportunity to do good and you actually did those things. That's what we want to try to do, accomplish as much as we can, as concretely as we can, so when people look at it and see it, they realize that this is what government can be about. It isn't about arguing, it isn't about partisanship, it's about accomplishing things that need to be done. And right here in DeLuca Park, hopefully you'll see that in a very short period of time. So with that, we'll open it up to any questions. I'll ferret them out as you see fit, unless you want to direct them to somebody. Or if you'd like to just hit the donuts and the snacks, we can get to that too straight away. Yes?
I have a question for you, Mr. Latimer. I know you mentioned earlier that Westchester County lost these crucial funds back in 2010 due to some non-compliance issue. Would you be able to elaborate exactly why the county did lose that funding?
Well, the county signed in 2009 a consent order with HUD regarding a lawsuit that involved discriminatory practices in housing, and that the county wasn't doing enough, and the county agreed at that point in time under my predecessor, two predecessors ago, to implement a plan to deal with those impediments. My immediate predecessor did not agree with that decision and pushed back and went to court with HUD over that. Now, I'm in court right now over the playland issue, so I understand that new administrations have the right to raise their point. But HUD responded to that lawsuit by ceasing support of the CDBG program, the home program, and otherwise. So the cost of that action was not merely just whatever it was in court, it was also the cost of these important programs. And we think that these programs, because they benefit the municipal governments, not the county government, could have and should have been held harmless by some arrangement. They weren't. So we made it a priority when we came on board to reestablish them. Norma Drummond, who is Deputy Commissioner of Planning, who we appointed Commissioner of Planning, took this on as a major task of her first year, and we think now we're on the right path going forward. Any other questions? Ally's good, we're all good, good. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you again to Elmsford for hosting us. Thank you to all of the officials to make this happen. Have a wonderful day.